There's an odometer out there, on a motorcycle, that has rolled past a number most engines will never see. Not 100,000, not 200,000, 1 million miles, on one bike, on its original engine. That's the distance to the moon and back, twice. And then a few more laps around the planet for good measure, all of it turning over the same pistons, the same crankshaft, the machine just refusing, mile after mile after mile, to die. That's not a myth, and it's not a typo. It happened. And it raises a question that should fascinate anybody who's ever loved a machine. Why do most engines quietly give up somewhere around 150,000 miles, while a rare handful of them seem almost immortal, running for decades, outliving their owners' cars, their owners' houses, sometimes their owners themselves? The answer isn't luck. It isn't magic oil. It's design. Specific, deliberate engineering choices that separate an engine built to pass a warranty from an engine built to run practically forever. Today I'm going to show you 3 motorcycle engines that genuinely refuse to die, the documented mileage that proves it, exactly why each one lasts when others don't, and at the end, the handful of things that will turn almost any bike you own into a machine that outlives you. Number 1 has a verified million-mile record, and if you ride one of these 3, you may be sitting on an engine that's barely getting started. But first, you have to understand why engines die at all. Because once you see what kills them, you'll see exactly why these 3 survive. An engine doesn't really die of old age. It dies of 3 things: heat, stress, and neglect. Heat is the big one. Combustion is a controlled fire, and every part around it is fighting to shed that heat before it warps a valve, cooks the oil, or scores a cylinder. Stress is the second. Every time you wind an engine toward its red line, you're loading those parts near their limits, and parts that live near their limits wear out fast. And neglect is the quiet killer. Old oil that's lost its protection, a filter full of grit, a valve that hasn't been checked in 50,000 miles. Get those 3 wrong, and even a good engine dies young. Get them right. Or better yet, build an engine that's naturally gentle on all 3. And the thing just keeps going. That's the secret hiding inside all 3 of these legends. Let's count them down. Number 3, the Kawasaki KLR650. And right after I promised you a million-mile record, a cheap dual-sport single might sound like a letdown. Until you understand that this is the motorcycle the whole world actually rides into the ground and simply cannot kill. Kawasaki built the KLR almost completely unchanged for decades, and the reason is almost funny. There was nothing that needed fixing. So it became the default bike for people who couldn't afford for their machine to fail. Alaskan homesteaders, military units, ranch hands, and broke 20-somethings who pointed one at the horizon and rode it across entire continents on a shoestring budget. It isn't fast. It isn't fancy. And that is precisely the point. Here's why it refuses to die. That big single-cylinder engine is deliberately low-strung. It makes modest, lazy power and never has to strain for it, so it spends its whole life well inside its limits, exactly like the low-stress rule says it should. It's liquid-cooled, so it holds a steady temperature instead of baking itself on a long climb or in stop-and-go heat. And it is gloriously, intentionally simple. Few moving parts, nothing exotic to break. The kind of engine an ordinary rider can understand, service, and fix at the side of a dirt road with a basic toolkit and a manual. But here's the KLR's own special flavor of immortality. The thing the exotic bikes can't touch. It's the affordable one. It's cheap to buy, cheap to feed, and cheap to keep alive. Which means people actually keep it alive for 250,000 miles and beyond, instead of giving up and scrapping it the first time something needs attention. The KLR proves the first great truth of the immortal engine, from the everyman's side. An engine that's barely stressed, simple enough to fix anywhere, and cheap enough that you never stop maintaining it, is an engine that never has to die. Number 2, the BMW Airhead Boxer. This is the engine that took people around the entire planet. Not once, as a stunt, but over and over, for decades, as a way of life. That flat, air-cooled twin sticking out on both sides of an old BMW is one of the most quietly legendary power plants ever made, and it earned that reputation the hard way, by crossing deserts, continents, and mountain ranges where a breakdown didn't mean a phone call, it meant real trouble, and simply not breaking down. The engineering behind it is a different philosophy from the KLR, but it lands in the same place. It's a low-revving, long-stroke engine that makes its power lazily and never has to scream for it. Because the cylinders stick straight out into the wind, they cool beautifully. Heat, remember, is enemy number one, and an air-cooled Boxer hanging in the breeze is a machine that manages its own temperature better than almost anything. It's mechanically simple, built to tolerances that assumed it would be abused, and critically, it's the kind of engine you can actually work on at the side of a road with basic tools. That combination, low stress plus great cooling plus dead simple serviceability, is why these bikes have circled the globe with hundreds of thousands of miles on the clock and kept going. The Airhead proves the second truth. An engine that stays cool and stays simple is an engine that stays alive. And number one, the engine with the record that started this whole video, the Honda Goldwing. To a lot of people, the Goldwing is a big, heavy touring couch, a comfortable way to cover a continent. And it is that. But underneath all that plastic and chrome is one of the most over-engineered, absurdly durable engines ever bolted into two wheels. And the proof isn't a rumor. It's on odometers. There are documented Goldwings that have crossed the 1 million mile mark on their original engine. One rider bought his in the 70s and simply never stopped, touring North America for decades until the numbers rolled past 1 million. Another owner's Goldwing sailed past 700,000 miles, still on the engine it left the factory with. Not rebuilt, not swapped. The same engine, doing numbers most cars can only dream of. Why? Because the Goldwing is the philosophy of build it to run forever, taken to its logical extreme. It's a big, smooth, liquid-cooled flat engine that loafs along at low RPM even at highway speed. Remember, low stress equals long life, and a wing at 70 miles an hour is barely working. It's liquid-cooled, so it holds a perfect, steady temperature instead of baking itself. It uses shaft drive instead of a chain, one less thing to wear and neglect. And Honda simply built every internal part heavier and stronger than it strictly needed to be, because the whole point of the machine was to carry two people across a continent comfortably for the rest of their lives. Add an owner who changes the oil religiously, and you get the closest thing motorcycling has to an immortal engine. The Goldwing is the final truth made metal, an engine that is barely stressed, perfectly cooled, overbuilt, and properly maintained, doesn't really have a natural lifespan. It just has an owner who eventually stops riding. So look at what all three of these share, because this is the real lesson, and it's the part that matters for your bike, whatever you ride. Not one of these engines is exotic. None of them is the most powerful, the fastest, the most advanced. They last because of the exact opposite. They run gently, well within their limits. They manage heat, whether by staying simple and air-cooled or by being properly liquid-cooled. They're built simple and strong, with fewer things to break. And every single legendary high-mileage example has one more thing in common that has nothing to do with the factory. An owner who maintained it like it mattered. The engine didn't stay alive on its own. Somebody changed that oil 10,000 times, which brings us to the part that actually helps you. Because here's the good news. You do not need to own one of these three to have an engine that lasts. You can take almost any well-made modern motorcycle and push it toward these kinds of numbers if you respect the same rules that keep these legends running. Rule 1, and it towers over everything else. Change your oil on time, every time, forever. Oil is the single thing standing between your engine's moving parts and each other. Fresh oil is cheap. It is, without exaggeration, the closest thing to an immortality serum an engine has. And the million-mile bikes are million-mile bikes largely because somebody never, ever skipped it. Rule 2, let it warm up and don't abuse it cold. Most engine wear happens in the first minute, before the oil is up to temperature and flowing everywhere it needs to. Give it 30 seconds, ride gently until it's warm, and you skip the harshest wear of the whole day, every day. Rule 3, manage heat and revs. You don't have to baby it. These engines love to be ridden, but living at the red line, or lugging it, or letting it sit and boil in traffic on a hot day is you personally aging your engine faster. Ride it in its sweet spot, keep the cooling system healthy, and heat, the #1 killer, stays your friend instead of your enemy. Rule 4, do the boring maintenance the Legends owners did. Valve checks at the interval, a clean air filter, a properly adjusted and lubricated chain, coolant that's actually fresh. None of it is glamorous. All of it is the difference between an engine that dies at 100,000 and one that's just getting warmed up at 300. Because that's the quiet, beautiful truth under this whole thing. The million-mile engine isn't a different species. It's an ordinary engine that got treated like it deserved to live. Ridden gently, kept cool, and maintained by someone who understood that the machine would give back exactly what it was given. These three were built with a head start, but the rest is up to whoever's holding the keys. So, comments, and I read every one. First, what's the highest mileage you've ever personally seen or put on a motorcycle? And what was it? I want to know the real numbers this community is running. And second, do you believe a modern bike will ever match these old legends for longevity? Or did they build them differently back then? Genuinely curious where you land. And if you've got a friend who treats oil changes like they're optional, send him this before his engine finds out the hard way. The cheapest part on the whole motorcycle is the one that keeps all the expensive ones alive. Ride it like you want to keep it. Because the machine that outlives you was never the fastest one. It was the one somebody refused to let die.